Hello and welcome to Not So Daft Minecraft, where it appears I've lost my helmet and my shoes. Fantastic. Okay, today we are going to begin, I want to emphasize that, the construction of our XP spawner. Okay, we found a skeleton spawner, and we're going to turn it into a spawner room. I've thought about this video for a while, and I have a bunch of ways I've done spawners in the past, and I think I'm just going to do the basic spawner. There's two formats I do, 9x9 or 11x11. There's a theory that says the larger room helps improve spawning. But to keep it in the basics format, we're going to do a 9x9 spawner. I think I'm going to divide it into three parts, and I think this part is going to be called setting up the room. And in this part, we're going to basically focus on clearing out the box, getting it square, and getting it lit. We'll worry about... Now we're going to have a problem because water dynamics no longer behave like they used to, and traditional sign-based water lifts don't work, so we're going to have to build ourselves a bubble lift. More on that later. Today, boxing out the room and setting up our path to the room. We're going to be coming and going a lot, so we're also going to be building a small train run in this video. And I want to keep it tight, under 15 minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we'll do is make a minecart, and we have plenty of iron for that. We'll also make some rails. We have plenty of gold for powered rails and iron for regular rails. So let's make up a batch. So we have the crucial parts here: the iron, the sticks, the gold, and the redstone. Okay, that might be enough to get started. Okay, so another thing I've put in my inventory for the train part of this, and maybe this video ought to be how to build a train to your work site, is redstone blocks. Now, for the sake of basic explanations, I've also included the redstone torch, so we can go over that as well, if you don't want to burn through redstone block. Even the basic simple startup mining we've done, and we've only done one branch connector, and we've boxed out our branch mine, but we still have a ton of redstone blocks. So, I mean, I don't mind burning through it, but if you want to start your rail line without that, you can use torches. We'll go over that. So our train, we're going to pocket set our train in here. Okay. Like that. Start with one powered rail, but no power source, and a button. Okay, there's your power source. All right. And now we'll talk about that redstone torch. We put that redstone torch down there like that. It's going to provide power to whatever block is above it. In this case, cobblestone. And when we put our powered rail on it, it will glow. Now, I know you're going to say, why not just do that instead of burn through an entire block of redstone, which represents 9 pieces of redstone? And the reason is, that's slow, and I like to do things fast. Now, you cannot have a powered rail on a curve, but you can have one here. I'm going to go ahead and listen to that critic that I invented there, and I'm going to put another one right here, so we don't have to look at that redstone right outside our window. There we go. But right here, I'm going to put that in. And 3 more. Now, I said earlier that it takes 3 to get you up to full speed, but curves slow you down. Every time you go through a curve, you're going to get a little bit of speed loss, and we have 2 of those in a row. So we're just going to go zooming out of here. Eventually, I'm going to replace this powered rail with a activator rail, which will kick us out of the cart as we come back. So really that's just a placeholder at the moment. From this point forward, we can set down 30 of these. So we don't need to worry about anything until that number down there reads 31. And then another one of those. Okay, so we just keep on going. I don't always put a powered at every turn, but sometimes I do. We'll just go ahead and make ourselves a little pocket here temporarily. Later on, we'll redo it once the room is finished. Ultimately, the train's going to have to move to another tunnel somewhere. We'll just go ahead and do some mob proofing, kind of keep them from being able to wander into this area right now. All right, let's get a run. That's lickety quick, huh? A little more mob proofing. So now we have our train line. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with demolition, being very careful not to break the spawner. You do that and you're done unless you stumble across another one. I'm going to post up a link here explaining the dynamics of 10 by 10 spawners. It's really interesting. In the past I've done 11 by 11s, but they're kind of a bear to light. 10 by 10 is a great dynamic, but it requires that you understand the functioning center of the spawner. It's not the center of the box itself, it's actually one of the box's 4 corners. You have to figure out which one is the center and build the room around that. We're going to go ahead and stick with 9 by 9 because quite frankly, it works very well. I've tried a lot of different spawner designs, including trenching the center and having the water run, pushing the mobs into the trench. Trench has water, carries them away, and so on. This is the one that seems to work the best. It's the easiest to do. We're going to go down 3 blocks below the spawner because in the back we're going to elevate 1 block for the water drop section, and I want to make certain the mobs have 2 blocks below them to drop into. We'll start filling out the ceiling with 2 blocks above, which we're going to go ahead and temporarily fill with cobblestone. Later we'll replace those 2 blocks with glass. And you can pace out the room to figure out how far out to make things go just by going ahead and attaching blocks to the spawner, 4 on each side, and that'll give you the parameter for the dimension of the room. I'm just going to go ahead and keep looking at the ceiling and counting as I go, 4 to each side. That ought to give me a 9 by 9 room, which is what we're aiming for. Great, we're going to build the back wings, as I like to call them, these kind of bat wing shaped devices. And these are the platforms from which we will place the water, which will flow out. Bigger you build them, the further the water pushes, but I'm going to go ahead and leave them so they form a T structure at the back, and we'll just trench down later to force that structure to give us this spot right here. That's where we're going to lift straight up. We'll make our shaft and clean it out, and we'll get started building a room back here somewhere. Okay, we'll put the water down on these 2 positions, and we'll make a T-box back here. We start removing these pieces. let the water flow, and we're going to create a channel that will bring the mobs right back to the point we want to lift them at, which is right here. Let's go ahead and speed this up a bit. Alright, I always like to replace sections of the wall between myself and the spawning room with glass. This way I can keep an eye on what's going on. We'll get up here, clean up the top, clean up these chutes, try and fill out as much garbage as possible, drop back down into the room, and hey presto, we got a drop shaft here and an up shaft here. And those two shafts will be what move the mobs up and down. Room needs a little bit more work. Get ourselves a permanent water source just in case. And now we'll start excavating for the bookcases. Real simple. You can do a ton of designs. There's a lot of instructive videos online about bookcase layouts. I put steps overhead so that I can put chests on top of my bookcases and they'll open. This is a classic 15 bookcase layout. I set my chests, I label them. This way, as we produce enchanted gear, we have an exact spot for everything, including such things as the enchanting supplies. Later we'll have another box for just arrows. We've gone and made ourselves an enchanting table, and we'll light the ceiling. Alright, that's part one of the mob spawner build post-aquatic update. They took away the ability for us to raise mobs up using blocks of water and signs, so now we're going to have to try something new. That's coming up in part two, where we will be building the bubble lift using a sticky piston pusher to get the mobs to go upstairs. Until then, hopefully we can work on speeding these videos up. Thanks for watching Not So Daft Minecraft. I have been Goseb. You have been great.